Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Now, if you're lucky enough to own a Moto Guzzi V7 motorcycle, you probably have a stock exhaust system on it, and it sounds okay. You know, the Moto Guzzi stock exhaust, which this is, it's a decent sounding exhaust, but if you want the Moto Guzzi to sound like it could sound, you're going to need to buy yourself a MISTRAL exhaust system, or one of the other big bore, lack of baffles or slightly baffled custom exhaust system. And it's going to run you anything from $600 to $1,500, depending on whether you just get the rear pipes or the headers or the entire system. And those exhaust systems sound amazing. What I've done with this particular bike is make it sound amazing for about $30. So if you're interested in your motorcycle sounding like this, so I spent about $30 and about 90 minutes on each exhaust to make that happen. So let's get into how I did it and see if you want to do it yourself. Alright, so this is a stock exhaust system. This is the stock exhaust system. They've got Moto Guzzi stamped on the inside here, and you will notice that they have a center pipe. This is what you need to remove in order to get that big deep Guzzi sound. And in order to do that, you do not have to cut the exterior of the pipe, nor do you have to cut the inner flange. You can do what I've done here, which is remove the pipe and leave the outer flange so it looks pretty much stock. So in order to do that, I've got some parts from other exhaust systems that I've worked on. This is basically what you're going to be removing from the inside of this pipe. And in order to do that, you are going to have to do a couple of things. Alright, so I'm going to sit down here and tell you exactly how to cut this pipe out of here without damaging the exhaust pipe. You're going to need a small handheld rotary tool, either a Dremel tool, or these are Chicago Electric made by Harbor Freight. They run between $15 and $25, and they do exactly the same job as the more expensive ones. You're going to need a selection of cutting discs. I went through approximately 30 of these discs, about 15 on each side, in order to make the cut. So very simple. First thing you do, and you can take off the exhaust and do it in a vise, or you can even do it with the exhaust attached to the back of your bike. It's important that you first of all cut off here, this tip, okay, the tip of the exhaust pipe. In order to be able to get your Dremel tool inside the pipe far enough, this tip has got to go. So all I simply did was very carefully cut around as close as I could without hitting it, and remove the tip of the exhaust pipe. Once that is removed, you can then, with the small brown cutting discs, you can get a pack of, I think they come in packs of 20 or 30 discs, that will fit perfectly down the inside of the tube. So with that in mind, oopsie, what you're going to be doing, like I said, is cutting off the tip, and then on the inside of the exhaust you're going to be putting this all the way down the center of the pipe, and you're going to be cutting from the inside this pipe off close to the weld, which is on the inside plate here. So cut off the tip, insert your Dremel, then cut off as close to the weld as you can on this inside, and then you're going to just be left with the weld on the inside. Then extend your cutting disc another 1/4 of an inch, and then you'll be cutting on the further side of the weld. So you're going to be making two 360-degree cuts from the inside of this pipe. First one will take this bit of pipe off, the second one will take the weld off.
There we go. Wow.
Weld off. Once you've made those two cuts, you're going to be left with a pipe like this on the inside of your exhaust chamber. You need to enlarge the weld once you've cut both sides of it in order to get this pipe out. You can do that with a grinder, a grinding ball on the end of an electric drill. Ball grinder, inch and a quarter ball grinder. So I went into the hole where the weld was after I'd cut both sides of it, and I ground it out just a tiny bit, and that will allow the pipe to pull straight through. Or you can go in there with your Dremel tool again and very carefully grind out the inside of the weld, just larger than the diameter of this tube. So whatever this diameter is, you just want to go a little bit bigger, and that will give some room for this pipe to wiggle through. So once you've made the cuts, once you've enlarged the weld, how do you then get your pipe out? There's no way to get your needle nose pliers in here and hold on to it because you've got a hole. So all you need to get is a piece of 3/4 inch PVC plumbing pipe, and literally jam it down the inside of the pipe like so. Jam it in, give it a twist, and this will come straight out. So once you jam that in, and then you can literally twist and pull and remove your baffle. So that's it. That's all I did. It took me about, the first pipe took about 2 hours. I was very careful with it. Second pipe did it in about 90 minutes. So if you've got 3 or 4 hours to spare, you've got a small handheld rotary tool, piece of PVC pipe, and about $30 worth of cutting discs, because you're going to get through them as you make that cut around the weld. Some will break, some will splinter off, you know, and you just got to be very thorough and very careful and very methodical about making those cuts without damaging the exterior here. But if you hold it steady and you go slow, it cuts very, very easily. Once those are out, you heard the sound on the exhaust systems, pretty amazing. It really sounds like a serious race bike now. If you want to go back to having baffles, I have not tried reinstalling these, but I can't imagine why it wouldn't be too hard to pop these back into place and just do some tack welds around here, and that's going to really quieten things back up to the original. You can also buy drop-in baffles for dirt bikes, and they run $20 or $30 each. So those are removable, and they will literally drop into that hole and fasten with a couple of screws. You'll need to drill some holes here, put those sound baffles in place, and that will quieten things down for you. But if you want to go for big sound, and you want your bike to sound like it's meant to sound, it's as simple as that. You do not need to spend $1,000 on an Augustini or Mistral or big bore exhaust pipes. Now, the one thing I haven't done is remap the engine or the timing and the ignition timing for this open exhaust system. I need to run the bike for a while and see how it does with the exhausts as is. If it's hesitating, if it's stalling, if it's giving me any obvious running problems, then I'm going to get the engine remapped and hopefully get it running better. But there you go. Thought I'd share with you how to debaffle a stock exhaust system, whether you've got a stainless steel one or the black one on a V7 exhaust system. Thanks again for watching. Ride safely, come home alive. One more time, just for fun. I think you'll agree that's a pretty serious exhaust.